Hello.
Hello.
Woo! That was loud. Let me turn it down. Sorry.
Oh.
No, it's good. It's good. Normally I can't hear people. How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing really well. Do you have a southern accent?
No.
Sounds like one. Maybe you picked one up. I certainly have.
All right.
Since we graduated high school. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you for your patience because I keep.
I feel like the universe doesn't want us to get together, which probably means we have some good stuff to talk about. Yeah, it's been pretty inconvenient on both sides. I feel like I'm like normally I'm not this difficult to get a hold of, and vice versa. I'm sure. So I'm excited we finally made it work out 6 months later.
I'm just like the other night. I'm just like. All right, just make sure I got everything good to go in the morning, and then I'm like picturing my headphones just like sitting at draped over my monitor at my desk at work, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's because we had a corona outbreak in our office, so I got sent home for 2 weeks just because I was exposed, and then I tested positive, so then I had to stay another. Then I had to get tested again like 2 weeks later, and then that was still positive, and then again it was still positive. So like the last month and a half, I've just been working at home, and yeah.
You're just really indefinitely testing positive for coronavirus?
No, I'm clear now. I got 2 negatives in a row, so they're saying you can come back. But
so do you think you had it on that note, or do you think
I definitely had it? I felt like absolute shit for like a few days.
Okay, I'm going to be an asshole and say it. Do you think after what you experienced that it warrants the entire shutdown we've seen of our economy, nation, socialization? Do you think
I've never thought it did. But well, no, because like I don't know, it barely did anything to me. I just had like a cold for 3 or 4 days, but then again, there's always like that. There's like a one in I don't know how many thousand people where even if you don't have any underlying things, it just ravages you. So I don't really know. I'm not an epidemiologist, and you can't. I'm just talking out my ass here. But
you and me both, sister. But I have strong opinions on the matter, and that's why you and I are actually here today, because you are so entertaining on social media. So why don't we kick off with the question I ask every podcast guest, which is, who are you? How do we know each other? And most importantly, Ryan, where can people find you online?
How do we know each other? Well, we both went to sister schools. As you know, went to Servite. You went to Connelly and Rosary. Sorry.
Thank you. I'm sorry too. Sorry.
I know.
Okay, wait. For the audience who doesn't understand what he just did, it would be the equivalent of saying like, "Oh, I went to Georgia Tech and you went to Auburn," and you're like, "No, I went to Alabama, motherfucker."
I know.
Like, I didn't go to Auburn. I went to Alabama. You. Yes, we're all in the SEC together, but
I know.
Very separate.
I'm so many years removed from that whole thing. I've just forgotten like who went where and stuff. I'm just like,
well, when in doubt, pick Rosary. We were like 3 times bigger than Connelly, but I have to say, just to clear the air, that I fell in love with Connelly when I was planning our high school reunion, because those girls, I wish that we hadn't been so competitive when we were in high school, because they were actually so awesome. Like, I hung out with Connelly girls more at our reunion because they were new and fresh faces to me. And the Rosary girls, I'm like, I see you girls all the time. I love you. I see you all the time. The Connelly girls, I was hanging out with Connelly girls. So I do love Connelly now, but I just have to say that was a big faux pas on Ryan's part.
Well, my mom and all her sisters went to Connelly, and that's why it's always program. That's the one I always defer to, and I'm in my head, and I'm like, oh yeah, to me, Rosary's the other one.
Yes, you are right. Where can people find you online?
I'm a curator of memes online, if you want to call it that. It's at Enchanted Bacon. There's an underscore in between there. Yes, that's the stupidest name I could think of, and I just like bacon, so there you go. That's about it.
Yeah, you're freaking hilarious. So I think we connected on Instagram after the reunion, and I am just so damn grateful because your memes are so, well, first of all, they're politically charged a lot of the times, but so politically charged that you can't even tell. I genuinely cannot tell if we were to dichotomize it, red or blue. I don't know what side you sit on. You are so politically charged that I'm just like, oh, he hates everybody.
I do. I really do hate everyone. This whole like the last like 4 years, and then like especially like I said, coronavirus kind of just like cleared the veil of everything, so you can really just see where everyone stands and all the shittiest parts of every person. Pretty much everyone's an asshole when you really put their feet to the fire. So, yeah.
Oh my God, Ryan, I'm on your Instagram. Okay, so I've been off Instagram. Oh my gosh, I'm dying. Okay, so it's a photo of Kamala Harris. And it's one of those grids like mosaics where you take a whole bunch of little photos and it becomes one big photo. But all the little photos are, I'm presuming, black men that she put away in jail. Their mugshot.
Yeah.
This shit tickles me. See, and that's where I'm saying it's like so aggressive that you're like, okay, you know, part of me goes, all right, fine. He must hate Kamala, obviously, with this, right? I mean, it's hilarious. But then we go here and there's a photo of Trump. Oh my God. Oh my God. Trump and Hillary, half naked.
Oh,
I mean, you're so funny. I don't know how this one with The Rock and Biden.
So he's like grabbing his nips.
Oh my God. You're so twisted that I was just like, how the hell did I never know this guy before? I was so excited to meet you at our reunion. Not meet you, but like see you. I think we maybe knew each other in high school, I think I started following on Instagram around the time that we were planning the reunion. So by the time the reunion came, I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to meet this guy. But we didn't really get to hang out, did we, Ryan?
No, we I don't know, you were kind of busy floating around.
Oh, I was
doing
busy
everything.
Floating around.
Yeah, and then I ended up getting just like really drunk with a bunch of people, and then I just went home after a while.
That's one way to tell the story, Ryan. That's one way to tell the story. There's another way to tell the story, which is I specifically told everyone not to pregame the reunion. I specifically said, don't be that guy. Did I not give a speech?
You did, and then I was that guy, so.
10 minutes into the reunion, Ryan? 10 minutes? 15 minutes, maybe?
Yeah.
I get a tap on the shoulder from security, and they were like, we have a situation at that table. And I look over, and it's, 8:30 p.m. People haven't even arrived yet, Ryan, and you're just you're just swaying. You are barely hanging on to a thread on that bar stool, and I was like, it's time to call it. And I said to you, I was like, what did I say about pre-gaming, Ryan? And you were like, don't do it. Yes, exactly what you said. Don't do it. And I said, did we pre-game tonight, Ryan? And you were like, yes. And I was like, do we got to go home now, Ryan? And I was just so angry because I really wanted to hang out with you. You were, I had been seeing your mind unfold online, and our reunion was incidentally after the last election. So it was, you were just on fire. You were on fire with the content. And so yes, I have to call you out on that because I'm a shit talker. But
that's fine. I did it. It's a thing I did, so whatever.
I love your mind. I'm excited to know more about you. And so where this kind of started was like, I was like, okay, I want to know more about this guy. And you were just kind of like, what do you want to know? And I'm like, well, I guess everything.
Okay.
What makes you you? You're an engineer. You have a wicked sense of humor. And as someone who's dated more than her fair share of engineers, I can say that in and of itself makes you a very rare breed. You also can write, which is a very rare quality for engineers as well, because they usually can't even spell their own names. So I'm good at math. Don't ask me how to spell engineer. But you're brilliant. You're brilliant.
Thank you.
I mean, you're one of the like, I mean, honestly, you're one of the most brilliant minds, if honestly not the most brilliant mind that I follow on social media. Your positioning of things, I could probably, now that I've been off of Instagram for so long, I could just go ham on your freaking page right now. It's once more time, you guys, it's enchanted_bacon. He's only got like 300 followers at the moment, so get him while he's still hot and not famous. Oh, sorry.
I know, I'm just kidding. I mostly just do it. I mostly do this just to like goof around with people I know. I'm not like oh, I gotta get a bunch of followers kind of people. Like I only figured out how hashtags worked like 6 months ago.
No, and that's what's so pure and organic about it. You really just don't give up. So when we started talking and thinking about, okay, what's a topic that we can have some commonality, and we kind of went back and forth, like I mentioned, for the last 6 months, and we finally narrowed down a topic, and I feel really honored that you're willing to speak with me today, and hopefully it'll be a good time. I just feel great to talk to you and let you do all the talking finally. So we'll kick it off. Just straight into it. What is something about your childhood that embarrasses you?
I've always been like really like shy when I was younger, and I had trouble like just talking to people and like really opening up and making friends for a long time when I was a little kid, and that eventually kind of subsided and stuff. But it was like 4th or 5th grade before I realized that like not everybody has like a mom's and a dad's house. And I'm like, and then I figured out like, oh, everyone else's parents live together. Like when I really figured out was like when I saw an old friend of mine from like grade school, like when his parents like started to get divorced, and then another person's did, and I was like, oh, like I get it. You're supposed to be together, but then like sometimes people are dicks, and then they can't be together. So I don't know. That's like only like the most embarrassing thing I can think of. But it.
I think that where people might listen to that and go, "Oh, that's not really that embarrassing, right?" Immediately when you said that, I related immediately because I was the first in my community to have divorced parents. And I just remember nobody asking nobody saying anything, but I knew everyone knew what was happening. And then my hair turned gray. I was 7 years old and my hair went gray. And I remember my dad being so upset. And at the time you're a kid, so I thought he was angry at me. But in retrospect, now that I'm older, I can see that he was just so panicked by the stress that he didn't realize was manifesting in his, 7-year-old. Like my hair literally turned gray. So
stress is absolutely like contagious. I know it sounds kind of new agey and dumb, but like dogs pick up on it, and kids are basically like advanced dogs. So there you go.
Oh my God. Kids are advanced dogs. Oh my God, that's going to be the title of this freaking podcast. Thank you for that.
I think of my best material when I'm barely awake. So, yeah.
Oh my goodness. No, it's interesting. And I think, I don't know, Ryan, I'm just guessing here, but you and I both went to Catholic high schools. I can probably presume that you grew up in a Catholic neighborhood or like elementary school?
Yeah, I went to St. Bonaventure right here. We weren't like insane and hardcore as some people, so it was a very like mellow, reasonable upbringing. So that was one thing I was grateful for. My parents are perfectly fine being in the room together. They can both take me out for dinner on my birthday, even though they've been divorced for as long as I can remember. Then that kind of ties into why I had no idea that like, oh yeah, people don't have like a two parents houses. That's
actually really pure though, because then that means that it wasn't, your parents weren't even unintentionally insinuating that it was a strange situation, like, oh, well, if your mother did an XYZ, we would still be living together, It sounds like that wasn't the narrative. I had an opposite experience. My parents had the most tumultuous divorce that I've yet to hear about. I'll say this. Both my parents lived 2 miles apart from each other, basically, most of my now adult life at least, I have never sat down and had dinner with both of my parents. Maybe at 4 years old or something, but I've never sat down at a dinner table with both of my parents.
It's been so long, it essentially has never happened.
Yeah, honestly, and they won't do it. It's gotten a little bit better with my my nephew, their grandson, I think has helped soften their hearts a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I think where I get frustrated now that I'm older, because I've had such like shitty luck in my love life, is that I realize I've never had a up close and personal example of a loving relationship.
Yeah, that's definitely same here. Like, I have had pretty terrible luck with that department too.
And maybe it's because we've never seen it, and it's like monkey see, monkey do, monkey don't see, monkey don't do. I like can't help but wonder. I'm like, wow, some people grow up in a household where they see two people argue and resolve the argument in a healthy manner.
Yeah.
I wonder what that's like, because all I saw was arguing and leaving.
Yeah, well, and all I saw was nothing. So to put it in like engineer terms, you're working with negative and I'm working with null set. So that's neither of those really make for a good plan. Well, then actually, no. My dad and my stepmom don't exactly resolve things in a healthy manner either. So when I get little scraps of that, it's
yeah,
it's like, what's going on here?
I'm sure there are plenty of people who are listening who are like, yeah, well, my parents have been together miserably for 40 years and they're not healthy either. And I think everybody's got their battles. Sometimes people take pity on me, and I don't know if you deal with this because your parents were one, you were one when your parents got divorced, but some people will say, oh my God, that's so sad, when I tell them my parent when I was 7, and I'm like, yeah, but it's just been my norm. I feel like the girls at at my school that in high school, that I thought was gnarly. Like going through a divorce when you're in high school, because then you literally are taking sides. You're big enough to where you have your own opinions. 14, 15, you're kind of like, Dad, you're a piece of shit. Thanks for cheating on Mom. I hate you.
Like, well, when you're as young as I was, your thought is just like you're still in like the 2 Christmases mode, and that's all your head set on. I shouldn't say you are. I should say me, because that was how my little monkey brain works. But yeah, I always try to keep, like, whenever I have to complain about going from one house to another, because I have to make like 4 stops on Christmas Day and all that shit. But I have to remind myself that there's people out there who had like broken bottles thrown at from one parent to another on holidays, or where one of them was drunk, and I'm like, oh yeah, you didn't have to do any of that shit, so you can just shut the fuck up and take a drive.
Exactly. And that's where I say, like, okay, I always say my parents' divorce was the most tumultuous outside of any type of physical violence. So there was no physical violence within their, that I should preface with that. So, we talked a little bit about our love lives, and mine's been a shit show too. I've been very open about that. Not that you called yours a shit show. You said you've had more difficulty in that department. Mine's just been a straight up shit show.
In order for mine to have been a shit show, there would be something would have had to have happened. Like I've been on that, plenty of dates, but it's just like, it seems like nothing ever goes on for more than like a couple of months, and then it's just kind of like, I'm not feeling it, and I'm like, okay, see ya. I don't know. I don't sense people's feelings as well as I should. Maybe it's because I was so shy as when I was younger. I just I'm kind of like behind emotionally, I think, growing up, and I've always been like sociable and friendly and gotten along with people as an adult, but I don't know, I just haven't had much luck, but it hasn't really been a shit show to complain about either, so.
So I think it's beautiful that you've been able to identify in yourself something that is perhaps tweakable. I'm just at a point where I'm like, oh, I could blame my parents' divorce, right? Like, is that
You can, but it also doesn't really get you anywhere.
Oh God, Ryan, you sound like my therapist.
Well, I mean, I don't know. My therapist told me something like that too. She's like, when I say my therapist, sometimes I mean an actual therapist. I also mean like podcasters who are just really smart.
I love that. I love that. That's so cool.
I don't know. I just, even if it's like someone else's fault, like if you just kind of internalize as much as you possibly can, and just kind of take more charge of your problems yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I know this sounds like really dumb, like, hey, just pull up your bootstraps kind of thing, but like there's more to it than that. Like you really, like, just even if it's not your fault, just proceed as if you're what it was. And I'm not talking about specifically dating. I'm talking about anything. Like,
I agree.
If there's like if there's some kind of confusing problem going on where everyone's pointing fingers, and it's just like, all right, well, I'm just gonna take it on myself because I'd rather just get through whatever we're working on, whether that be at work, whether it be something at home, whether it be a relationship. I just sort of stopped trying to like worry about who looks better in the situation, like ego, like just get rid of it. Don't think so highly of yourself. The way other people react to you is mostly a function of your action, like of you. It's like what you do, how you present yourself, how you interact with people. Like, and then at some point it finally clicked. Like, why are you so worried about what other people think of you? You aren't that special. They aren't even thinking of you at all most of the time. like they're having the same thoughts you are. Is what I finally, not the same, but like they're thinking about the same types of things you are. They're just like, what I got to do next, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, you are not that special, that you're what's on their mind all the time. And I don't know when this clicked, but it eventually did, and it just suddenly became normal after that.
Yeah, I definitely agree that I've said it before to the point of offending people sometimes, but I always say in every circumstance you hold responsibility for what happened to some extent. And so even something as egregious as being murdered or, cheated on and left and high and dry and all this stuff, there is a level of either red flags that you ignored that got you to that position. Not that you deserved it, but the responsibility is never, you are never 0% responsible. I completely agree with that. And I agree too. I was half joking about the divorce thing. I keep fighting this like lifelong desire to have a partner. And I say fighting it because if I want it so badly, everything else I've wanted, I've always gotten relatively easily. Put in a little effort and it happens. And yet something that seems so easy for everybody else, I just haven't figured out the code.
Yeah, it took me a while to get over that as well. And then you got to just say to yourself again, like, well, that's not getting you closer to the solution. So
I hate you.
Shut up.
I'm just gonna make you my therapist. How about that? Can I call you like every other week? Like, hey Ryan, went on another date.
There's some days where I'm like, God, if I could just meet like a really like pushy gal, maybe already as a kid, and just told me what to do. That's usually on stressful days where I'm just like, what do I got too much shit to do. What do I got to do first? And I'm like, some days I'm just like, that'd be a nice thing to just have.
People who are children of divorce are more likely to get divorced. What is your thought on divorce, like for yourself? Like, are you kind of like, if it happens, it happens? Or I personally always say death before divorce. That's probably another reason why I'm single, because I literally look a man in the eye and I'm like, I do believe in death before divorce. You interpret that how you want, sweetheart, but death before divorce.
I haven't really even thought that far down the line. It's just like, well, no, because what happens is like I just think like, because like you said, like if children of divorced parents are like more likely for it to happen to them, so then in the back of my mind, I'm just always like, God, I really hope I never have to deal with that, and then I jump to like, well, it's statistically more likely to happen, and then I just start spinning into anxiety. So I just go like, hey, whatever happens, happens. And then once the world opens again, thanks to this fucking virus thing, like what's that going to be like? You're going to have to deal with a bunch of over paranoid people who are like not going to want to even go out with you. Like I just out of curiosity, I opened Bumble again for the first time in like 8 months, and I looked at like Bumble and Tinder, and I was like what the hell's going on with these during this? Just out of curiosity, and they have options for like, what's your dating preference? Do you masked, socially distanced, none at all, digital only, and I'm just like, oh shit, this is really bad. So
the 3 options are digital only, masked, or social distance dating, meaning I will wear a mask on the date, or I will stay 6 feet away from you on the date, or I'll stay digital only. But they need to add a 4th option. How about I don't give a fuck as long as you don't give me herpes, I'll risk the COVID.
I managed to avoid herpes up till my 32nd birthday, so so far life's a W.
Oh my gosh, I love it. When is your birthday?
June 24th. So
Nice. Oh, 624. I like that. 6 = 2 + 4.
Yes, it does.
I have this weird thing where I like, if I hear an address or a phone number, I have to make some type of equation out of it.
Yeah.
I so appreciate the time today. You are just as hilarious as I thought. I am super excited to see more of your memes. Honestly, you're great. What are your thoughts as we get closer to the election and hopefully all this crap clears out? This is not a political affiliation. I genuinely have no idea where the hell you lie politically. I have no idea, and I genuinely don't care. But who do you think is going to win the election? This is nothing about, because I think people confuse that question with like, who do you want to win the election? And that's not what I'm saying. But who do you think is going to win?
I genuinely have no idea. I just, despite what I post on my Instagram feed, I'm actually like, I have no fucking idea what's going on half the time because I'm so busy with school. The only things I get are like the super clickbaity stories, and then like I just sort of scroll when I'm on my lunch break, or I'm just done paying attention to whatever I'm working on. I'll just see like hilarious. I don't know. I've sort of curtailed my feed to only give me like really high quality grade A prime memes. I mean, I'm working on my thesis and taking my last class, and my job is like, it's like we're in like a chunk right now where it's like you're gonna work like 53 hours every week. I'm like, cool. But
no. Well,
things like this are I really like doing because it like forces me to like take my mind off numbers for
I was going to say thank you so much for making the time to come and speak with me this morning and share your mind. I really hope you come back because I think you're so funny, and again, your mind is just so brilliant. I feel like we could talk about just about anything. Well, thank you so much one last time for everybody who wants to check out your hilarious page. You're public, right? So anyone can just creep on you?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, cool. And what is your Instagram one more time?
Enchanted_bacon.
Yeah, Enchanted Bacon. Ryan, you have to come back, please. And let's not make it 6 months for you to come back. We'll come up with a really fun topic. We'll talk about something, I don't know. We'll think of something. And when are you done with your program, your master's program?
After this semester, basically, I'll be much more free. So.
Oh, well, good. Well, congratulations again. And if we don't talk soon, have a really, really great Halloween and holidays. And I really do. I want to catch up again. And maybe we'll strategize dates. Maybe we go on a date with each other and then do a post-date recap analysis. I think that sounds like a fun idea.
Yeah, we can do that.
Can we just analyze, like, okay, you showed up 3 minutes early, but
you're like -5 points. He's too neurotic. He showed up 3 minutes late. Oh, he can't get anywhere on time.
Oh my gosh, wait, that would be so fun. We could seriously do a full-blown analysis of the date. We could both have our own metrics. I'm actually kind of turned on by this idea.
All right.
I'm asking you out on a date, though, so you're already starting at negative points because I had to make the first move.
Oh, damn. We'll go base jumping or something crazy to make up for that. So,
negative 10 points.
Oh, God, damn. You can't win.
Oh, man, this will be great. I think it could be eye-opening for both of us.
Yeah.
First of all, I think a dating self-analysis would be a very self-aware exercise that maybe more of us could afford to do. So I actually really am open to this idea. So if you follow up, I will show up.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you again for the time this morning, and I can't wait to talk to you again.
Great to hear from you, and great to catch up.
Yes, you're the best, Brian. Take care.
Okay, bye. Hey, thanks for checking this shit show out. If you have an idea you'd like to be featured here, my email is ellaurbellapodcast@gmail.com. Thank you.